When you think of Disneyland, chances are you are thinking of a location in Fantasyland. That's right. Today we are exploring the heart of Disneyland as we go through our Land by Land series celebrating Disneyland for its 70th anniversary. So grab the gray stuff. I mean, it's delicious after all. And let's stroll through Fantasyland together on this episode.
You're listening to Castle Talk Radio. We're live on the airwaves with Becca and Jessica. Now let's jump into this week's episode.
We're back doing our Land by Land episodes. These are solo episodes that Jessica and I are taking turns being your tour guide as we explore the Disneyland Resort and each land within Disneyland Park in honor of the 70th anniversary of Disneyland. And today I get the privilege to walk you through the heart of Disneyland, and that is Fantasyland. When you think about Disneyland, you might think of the teacups. You might think of Dumbo, the flying elephant. You might think of It's a Small World. These are all located in Fantasyland. In fact, there are 12 rides total in Fantasyland, and we are going to mention each of them. And there are so many other experiences in that area. Buckle up, we're going to go through this, and hopefully I can keep my thoughts organized for you guys. So first off, the anchor of Fantasyland is Sleeping Beauty Castle. And did you know that that is a working drawbridge for Sleeping Beauty Castle? Now, it has only been raised and lowered two times, one for the grand opening of Disneyland in July of 1955, July 17th, 1955, and the other was after they rethemed Fantasyland in the 80s. Now, Fantasyland originally was more of a circusy type theme, a lot like the feel of some of the areas of Fantasyland in Walt Disney World. The older part of Fantasyland still has that feel over there in Walt Disney World at Magic Kingdom. Now, though, it feels like you are stepping into a European village. So I feel it puts you into the story a lot more because as you walk into Fantasyland, the stories right there at the front are those European location stories. You have Peter Pan's Flight, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, Snow White's Enchanted Wish, Pinocchio's Daring Adventure, and then in the heart of those four rides, in between all of them, is um, the carousel. You also have the sword and the stone that you can try and pull out right there in front of the carousel. Now, I do want to, before we move on and start talking about like strategy and things, I just want to list all of the rides that are in Fantasyland because I will probably not get to go into each one in any type of detail because there are so many. There are 12 rides total. And we're going to start with the main ones. The five I've already mentioned. And then you have the Casey Jr. train. You have Dumbo, the flying elephant. Storybook Land canal boats. The Mad Tea Party. Alice in Wonderland. Matterhorn bobsleds, which is the only one with the height requirement in the land. And then It's a Small World. And that is 12 rides in a pretty compact area. With that, it is a great area for families because of there's not as many thrill rides, dark rides based on animated classics, but also because they are all kid-friendly rides in a very walkable distance. So you can park your stroller once and do most of these rides right there in a short amount of time, depending on wait times. So the big thing in Fantasyland is it's the perfect place to rope drop because of how close everything is together. You're going to get the most amount of rides done that you can in a morning if you rope drop Fantasyland. Now, if you are looking for a rope drop strategy, I actually have all of my rope drop strategies available to you down in the description. You don't have to purchase, they are free. I will just email them to you. And I give several, not just the Fantasyland one, all in one, but I do have my Fantasyland strategies there. And the one thing you are going to notice is that when I have my rope drop strategy, I really do not suggest rope dropping Peter Pan's Flight. And there are a few reasons for this. The first is that everybody is trying to get there. So unless you're one of the first people to get there, the wait is already almost instantly 20 to 30 minutes long, which is what it's going to be all day. In fact, sometimes in the morning, I've seen it up to 45 minutes, and then later in the day be only 20. Um, Another thing about rope dropping this is I do usually suggest starting with Alice in Wonderland because it can get quite a long line, just like Peter Pan can, but not in that first hour. The first hour, it stays pretty short. So you just want to get that out of the way. You don't have a bunch of people running to it. So now I just want to give you some of the little hidden details, the food, and some random tips for Fantasyland. So, one of my favorite hidden details is the fact that you can walk through Sleeping Beauty Castle. A lot of people do not realize this, but if you're going through the castle in the center and you're looking at the carousel, right as you come through, you are going to turn left, and there will be a fountain with Aurora and Philip dancing, and then there's like a little bit past that, there's the entrance to Sleeping Beauty Castle. Now, this is a walkthrough of the castle with a lot of stairs, and you see scenes in this retelling of Sleeping Beauty. If you are not able to do stairs, when you come through the castle, instead go to the right, and there is a little room that you can have a Sleeping Beauty experience there. And that's also where the exit is to walk through. So as you're walking through, you're walking over the pass through the drawbridge bridge pass through to the castle and back down. I definitely think that is worth stopping in and checking out because it is something that is unique to Disneyland. Another thing that I think is a lot of fun, and this is a great thing to do when you're in line for Peter Pan later because you didn't rope drop it, is there are some hidden details in this land that are kind of fun. And the first one is that you, while you're in line for Peter Pan, look over across the way from Peter Pan is Snow White's Enchanted Wish. And if you look up, there is a window, and the evil queen will sometimes look out that window. So keep an eye out for her because she's keeping an eye out for you. Also in the line for Peter Pan, there are interactive things for with the Disney Play Disney app where you can light up the lantern and Tinkerbell will show up. There's also little sketches in the wood that represent different characters from Peter Pan. There are a lot of things to look at. This part of Disneyland has so much theming and so many little details that you can definitely entertain children while in line. Moving on, we're going to talk a little bit about the food because how can we not? I am not the foodie of this podcast. That is 100% Jessica. But I will say one of my favorite breakfast locations is actually in Fantasyland, which makes it perfect when you are rope dropping. You can mobile order breakfast from this location and pick it up, get a bite to eat after you've already done most of the rides. And that is Red Rose Tavern. Now, Red Rose Tavern serves all three meals. My personal favorite is breakfast there, but this is also where you can get the gray stuff. It's delicious, but it is rich. So I do suggest sharing it until you know if everybody's going to want their own. But again, this does have mobile order. Mobile order is a great way to plan ahead and have meals ready, and you can just push those times. If you're running late, you can go in and modify your time, but definitely order at least an hour before from Red Rose Tavern because it does tend to fill up in spaces for when you can pick up your mobile order. There's some other dining locations in Fantasyland as well, but Red Rose Tavern is like the main, like you have seats and everything around it. But there's also Edelweiss Snacks, which is located across from the Matterhorn. There is Troubadour Tavern, which is up by the theater near It's a Small World. There is Maurice's Treats. Now, this is actually located in the Royal Theater. So I think this is a perfect segue to that because the Royal Theater is where you go for so much of the princess stuff. And it is interesting because it's actually located in front on the front side of the castle. So when you're looking at the castle and you're pretty close to where the castle is and you look to the left, you'll see some buildings there that are in the same style of that European village. And that is the Royal Theater area. And you have the Royal Theater where they put on retellings of some of your favorite princess stories. And these are funny and definitely check them out. I love them. Right now they're doing Beauty and the Beast and Tangled as the two that they rotate between. There's also the Royal Hall, and this is where you can meet the princesses. You're gonna go and see some princesses in different rooms, and it's great. But this is also where Maurice's Treats is located, and it is a cart that is themed to being Maurice from Beauty and the Beast cart that he has and takes around with him, but he's selling treats instead of his inventions. For those of you that want a little more thrill, you're going to want to check out the Matterhorn bobsleds. Now, this is a fun one because one, it's the first steel tube, I think is what it's called, roller coaster that was built. But also this it has a very interesting history in the fact that it used to be listed in 2 lands. It used to be listed as being in Tomorrowland and Fantasyland with 2 separate entrances for each one, and so you had a Tomorrowland track, which is the more aggressive track, and the Fantasyland track, which was known for being less aggressive, but it's still aggressive. And when they did a refurbishment several years ago, they changed that so that there's one entrance to the Matterhorn bobsleds now. And some people weren't happy about that because it used to be a hack that one side would be less busy, but they also added Lightning Lane at that time. And so it used to be called Fast Pass, it's now called Lightning Lane. This is one of the few rides, one of 2 rides in Fantasyland that offer Lightning Lane um, a Lightning Lane entrance. So if you purchase your Lightning Lane multi-pass, you can use that to access the Matterhorn bobsleds. The other ride that offers that is It's a Small World, which is towards the back of Fantasyland. And that one is fun because we're celebrating its, I believe, 60th anniversary for It's a Small World at this time. And the It's a Small World at Disneyland has some extra details. First, it's outside, it's beautiful, right? But second, we have Disney animated characters that are located in the different areas of the ride. So like in Great Britain, you're gonna have Alice and maybe Peter Pan and things like that. Other areas you'll have Pinocchio. You even have the Lion King represented. So definitely keep your eyes out for that. Fantasyland does kind of get the rap for being for little kids, but I think if you want that nostalgia, you're gonna go there. You're going to enjoy Fantasyland, whether you're 5 or 50. Definitely check it out, and we'll see you next week with our next land that we will be covering in this series.